So I came up with a solution or found a solution to the glitching habs, and it's related specifically to this Qt Creation Kit Save Settings INI. Basically, what that does is that keeps your screen and how your layout of and your configuration and your personalized information inside of the creation kit is what I've noticed the most about it. And it also does another function though, is it what I understand is that it creates a list of your assets so that it can do a quick lookup um, of what you have at where. And it has its limits. And so I have basically the habit of I'll go into these instances to go collect assets so that because it's hard, I don't really have the object list of names. And some of the names have changed, it seems. You're trying to look up bed and find bed. You just can't find it that way anymore, or look up various things that things have changed. And so it's easier for me to just do what I did originally, which is to go into the various sites where I know that there's a lot of decor and just go snag it out of the instance and then save that so that I can decorate and have access to the things that I want to use to decorate with. Well, uh, that in itself isn't necessarily the issue, but the issue becomes when you start putting a lot of pressure on um, the elements that are tracking your um, what I call it. It's not necessarily your activity, but it's like the things that your save file keeps up with. And in the ship builder, when you start adding modules and such or doing edits, then it's keeping up with your ship and all of the things, all the pieces your ship has. So when you're working on various projects in the creation kit, there's going to be a tracking of the things that you've got and where they are. So it's going to track like here's a list here of all of the stuff that I have made. Um, and each one of these things is going to basically be addressed in that list. So what happens is that there's a limit. Now there's the theoretical limit, according to the information, the feedback that I got is like you can have 2 million items. Now I don't have 2 million items or anywhere close to that, but the pressure that happens is how much stuff the kid is needing to keep track of at a moment, and you can reach points where it's exceeding its ability to really juggle everything that you're dealing with, and it starts getting offset problems and not being able to read or store or access the data correctly. And it doesn't know it to tell you. It can't tell you, oh, hey, I've got too much, slow down, or you need to reboot and start again so that, we can clear out all your cache and all this stuff that I'm trying to juggle. It can't make that distinguish condition for you. But what you run into is you can run into symptoms. So one of the basic description for clarity here of what we're talking about is the Starfield Creation Kit find function failure, and data ghosting symptoms. For if you're trying to find technical information on that, on these symptoms that I'm talking about, according to the AI searches I did of the forum feedback that it goes through to provide me with information regarding the subject, this is what the AI says that this subject is. That it has, it specifically would be a fine function failure and data ghosting symptoms. So we're talking about two specific problems. What causes it and how do you fix it? The find function that was failing would be, for example, I go in and I look for the HAB variance. So I would do an SMS set HAB variant and do a wild star on that. And now this is all of the forms for the HAB variants. And what a HAB variant list is that's going to be your set data of all of the things that are associated, all the 2x3s, all the 2x2s, and so forth of that type that they're associated with. So for example, we're talking about the battle station empty, the berthing empty, the brig empty, the cargo empty, the computer core, and then the two that I created here, my custom HAB. So they're on a list. And each one is assigned their own number. This one's 70, this one's 80, this one's 90, so on, so on, so forth. This is 130. And this is what you will see when you go to the shipbuilder and you go to and open up the Teo 2x2s. Then you're going to have the arrow key that allows you to either select the one that you're looking at or a variant. So this is the variant list that you go through. And the find function is this list. This is a element that gets inserted into the list, into the base form. You add it through the base form because they're considered a base form that goes with the SMS set. And in the base form, it's going to point to the keyword that calls out the plug-in top and internal piece that makes that constructible object. I know it's a lot to absorb, but let me see what I can do. So the find function, which we're talking about with a find function failure, is if I double click here, this tool provides that if you double click where this is now showing its name, it then brings up the ability to either edit it or find it by clicking the magnifying glass there. And that's the find function. It should come to this list. But what happens is when that file breaks because it's been overpressured, that file is this file. And it contains that information, and it contains a lookup list that it uses for these finding these items. And so if it can't find that, that is a fingerprint of that file as having indexing problems and is not pointing to the data or can't point to the data correctly, which is a big warning that your edits, you should stop them and you should fix this problem, because your edits, you don't know what's happening with your edits, where they're going or if they're working at all. And it could be that it makes it look like you've edited something and it didn't write it down because it doesn't know where to put it and it doesn't tell you. or it could be that it writes to something else that it thinks it is. And that is what causes uh, this issue where you see these ghosting like you see here. So if I go to this, and you see there's two things that are wrong here that I can point out. And one of them is that the snap behavior is not functioning correctly. This hab was working perfectly fine and then suddenly it wasn't. And I wasn't doing anything with it. I just suddenly it wasn't working. And the snap behavior is is part of um, that reference that I was showing you in the CK is part of this reference. So if I edit this, you're going to see the manufacturer being Teo, which is important, but you're also going to see, let's look at this one here. Let's look at the aft. And the aft has a snap behavior link reference to the aft mid plug. The snap behavior is needed so that when you butt this up against another hab or window or whatever, that the snap behavior recognizes that there is something else that is connected to that snap point, what it is, and knows what to do with it. Is it a window? Okay. Is it a docking bay? Okay. Is it a cockpit? Okay. Is it another hab? Who's the manufacturer? Okay, this is what we're going to do. And without that snap behavior being there or being correct, it doesn't know what to do. And so what's happening here is this is an indication that the snap behavior does not know what to do. And so if you look at that port and you see that it has snap behavior on it and it's set up correctly, but this is happening, that means that the information that is happening down the line is not connecting with that information on that snap behavior item of that hab piece. And the second thing that's happened is you see this picture in the background here. Now, I happen to know that that picture was not there in the hab that we're looking at. The hab we're looking at is my custom copy that was made from the empty hab, which this picture was put in a outpost tool placed uh, placement of that picture on an empty hab, not the custom hab. Now, the custom hab and the empty hab share the same architecture, but they've got two different numbers in the creation kit list. Back to the back to this list. So the empty hab cargo is a 100, and my hab um, version, well, this is not the right one. The right one would actually be the 3x1. That's a captain suite. Where's the living quarters? Okay, living quarters. Oh, I know why it's not looking. Let's go here. Okay, so the living quarters, empty hab, internal. And let's look at that in the window. And okay, so So anyway, the empty hab, this is still the wrong one, but what I'm getting at is that the empty hab that shows right here, and this hab, this is the pushing of two hab information together in one. So the lookup information that is displaying for me when I go into the actual ship is 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 confused. It's trying to put two habs together. So it's got this ghost object, this picture that was there on the wall of the empty hab while I'm in the duplicated from the empty hab and renamed custom hab. And that, along with this shelf being here, which says that the snap point's not working, are symptoms of the information that governs the behavior and the configuration of these habs is corrupt. It's not working. You're not getting good information, and that information is apparently based in this Qt Creation Kit Save Settings INI. And when I deleted that, it had the system recreate it when I did all the steps um, to flesh that out, where it recreated itself and started over again. All of those problems went away. Now, this specific problem with this shelf not showing or showing correctly, at the time, the way that I fixed it is that I was able to go in and snap out this shelf section, not just the shelf section, because that's all built into a swappable item, which it's built into the wall. It's part of the wall, and when you open up this door, part of the snap behavior is that it goes through a item swap keyword where it knows, oh, this I'm supposed to take this out and change that out and put this other piece in, which makes the doorway happen. But that doesn't happen because the snap behavior is not working because it's got the wrong information. So by replacing that um, panel piece, the whole section, that side piece, that swappable item with a new one, and then reconfiguring the snap behavior again, adding its snap behavior back again, it reset the information that the INI file had uh, with what it was looking for. And so that worked for that, but it didn't work for the Shroud Captain's Hab. And the reason it didn't work for the Shroud Captain's Hab is because the Shroud Captain's Hab actually had the keyword changed. It wasn't a Shroud manufacturer keyword, it was a Teo manufacturer keyword, and it didn't work for it. And so that's why that one didn't work. So the information got messed up. Now the keyword for Shroud being Teo, it's actually they're right next to each other, one line off the other. So there's a high probability that I was sleepwalking and that I clicked the wrong item when I was doing an edit on a Teo mod and changed that. But it had been working and it stopped working uh, about the time that I plugged in the shattered space and started working on these halves. So, I've been going a lot of hours without any sleep, and I was probably sleepwalking. I probably screwed that up. But the symptom still is that you've got this ghosting happening here, and the find function doesn't work. And those two things are tied um, to this particular file. So the short of the tech tip is that when you run into a find function failure and data ghosting, the method that I went through um, to clear it all that works and will probably work again is that I do what is called a nuke. And a nuke is that I NG all of my characters so that that flushes all of their save file and there's no information that's hanging out in the save file. And then I remove all of my creation mods and go down to nothing more than the base game. Take all of the removable mods out and only be loading the Starfield mod, which is going to automatically also load any of the other base game mods like Shattered Space if you have that. Armada is automatically going to load. Your mods for your empty halves are going to load, and there's no getting around that. Those are going to load, but you just go down to where you unload everything, and all you've got is the Starfield base game loading after you NG. And then once you've done that, you've got to then log out, log back in, reload all of the mods that you want loaded and NG again. So it's like a cycle where you've got to turn it off and back on again. But by doing that, you have to make sure that because if you don't NG after you've plugged it back in, things are going to be broken. Even I would say even if all you've done is from you've NG'd, you're still sitting in orbit above Argos Extractor where you come out of your NG result. I would just NG again, just to make sure that it's flushed and there's no lingering residual data from unplugging and replugging in that mod. Just have that mod installed when you come back through the Unity. Have it uninstalled when you go in, and then have it reinstalled when you come back out again. And that fixes that. And then once you've done that, you would go into the creation kit and you would open it up, having deleted your creation kit save settings, your pipeline cache. And there's also a custom INI setting that gets created, or it's the no, it's the plugin, the pack-in INI that has your creations INI that is the list of the creations you have, and that'll automatically get created again by the game. Not necessarily right away, but the game will create it when it needs it and wants it. The pipeline cache will get restored by the game as soon as you go and start the or not by the game, but by the creation kit. As soon as you restart the creation kit, it'll restart that. It might drop a little bit in size. I think I was like at 98 megabyte size, and when I went through this process and it reloaded, it was at 90 or 87, I think, something like that. So it dropped a bit in size. I mean, it was 93. It dropped a few megabytes in size, which indicates, that it did do a flush. It lost some data, and then that action, you'll wind up with your interface the way it is the first time you go in, having loaded the creation kit. All of your windows won't be back out, and so you'll have to go back in and toggle the things that you want to have on view and put them in position and that stuff. But the test is to be able to go in and do that fine. And if you can then go in and do your search, do your SMS set have variants, get that list, click on any item, and then use that search function. If that window changes and it pulls up this item that you click on, which it did, then it's working again. And that's what it takes. That's what it took in order for me to be able to correct that issue, and and everything get back to working again. All of my ships, which I basically I did a another another build on walkthrough on that, where I basically, you know, go through and test everything, and everything was working, inclusive of my captain's cabin again. Now, my captain's cabin, I had to, like I say, fix it because it had the Teo keyword, manufacturer keyword, instead of the shroud, and that was what broke it. I had one of my one by ones that the top um, keyword had not been set, and that's why I wasn't able to use it for entry bay access, and I fixed that, and everything's working now. So hopefully that's helpful. Tech tip. There's the data, and that's a result of a big long conversation with the AI, starting off with this question and telling it very specific information, and getting the feedback to come back with it. Basically, um, this information here. Find the search box in the object window, returns no results for valid forms, even touch-based game forms. Visual ghosting decor or mesh data from the previously edited cells bleeds into current cells. Snap point failure, valid connection points become unresponsive or invisible. Performance, severe lag. That's one thing that I noticed, is that it became extremely long time for the creation kit to load, and even closing it took a really long time. And severe lag when saving or loading or using the find tool after extended sessions. The find tool just quit working. Root cause: corruption of the creation kit's UI state cache, or that INI file, and the session's memory exhaustion. Memory exhaustion is the term that they use to describe the condition that I was putting on it. I was using the word, I apply a lot of pressure, because I'll do things like I'll go into these very mesh heavy areas and walk through them, and then open and go into another area, and go searching and hunting for various decor items that I want. So I'm all searching and walking around looking for stuff, and grabbing those assets and dropping them into my render window, and manipulating all this data. And after a while, it gets into a session of memory exhaustion, which causes memory pointers to collide. That's specifically what it says. So um, so basically, to you know, you go through those steps that I explained it on how to flush it, and bring the find function back. But those are the keys. Is when you start seeing the ghosting, and you start seeing um, multiple symptoms like that. Things are slowing down, they're lagging. The shipbuilder loses the records of the ships for sale, adds stuff that you didn't add into the keyword vendor list, and you're seeing these strange, weird behaviors. That is probably because that INI file is breaking because of session memory exhaustion, which is a habit I've had of putting in a lot of long hours into something, and manipulating a whole lot of mesh. So there you have it. Hope this helps.